Hi guys, in today's video, we're going to paint sunflowers. In the first part, I am going to show you how to paint a single flower in 3 different perspectives. And in the second part, we're going to turn what we've just learned in the part 1 into 2 complete floral paintings. So without further ado, let's get started. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all doing well, and as always I am going to talk you through a little bit about my supplies. I am using Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolor paint, and for the 2 final paintings I am going to use Archie's watercolor paper, and for the first part, which is the practice part, I am going to use Canson paper. Since I already used up all of my brown colors in the Winsor & Newton palette, I'm going to grab some of the brown from my Monyo watercolor pen. Now I'm going to mix the brown with some of the red so that I have the reddish brown for the center of the sunflowers. The first field we're going to paint is the top down, so you will have the center right in the middle. As you can see here, for the center of sunflower, I just kind of have a little dot and form them into like the circle shaped here. And from there, I am going to paint the petals. So for the petals, I am using 2 different shades of yellows, which is the lemon yellow and yellow ochre. And so I am going to drag my brush from the center and from a petal, and you can see there's a little bit of the bleeding colors here, and that's totally fine, and that is something that makes watercolor unique and have a very interesting look. For the top down view, I think that is the easiest one. So you will have the center right in the middle, and all of the petals will go around and have the same length, the same sizes. And while the petal is still wet, you can also drop some red into some areas and let them blend together. So by this way, you will have more organic looking flowers. And as you notice, when I apply watercolor to the paper, there are some dark and light areas, means the pigment is not distributed evenly. And that is something very unique about watercolor, which I love. It just makes the painting look more dimensional. So if you notice the same thing, I would suggest that don't try to make it even, just leave it alone, and when it completely dries, you will see how beautiful it turned out. Next is the side view, which means the flower is looking up. For this view, I also start with the stamen, and it's more like an oval. And from there, I will paint the petals on the right side first, which the size and length of this size are normal. And as it's moved toward to the left, the petals getting shorter. And finally, I just have 1 brush stroke to close it like what you see here. And now we have the side view sunflowers. Next, the third view is kind of looking down, and I also start with the stamen of the flowers. And since the flower is looking down, so the petal at the bottom will have full length and size. As it moves toward to the top, the petals will appear to be shorter. And finally, just like the side view, I will use 1 stroke to close the circle. There you go, we have same flower with 3 different angles. Hope that what I just explained will make sense and make it simple for you. Now moving on to the next part, which is the easy one, I will add stem and leaves. Here I am using Viridian green mixed with indigo to have kind of dark bluish green for the leaves. Feel free to use any greens you like. And now when the centers of all the flowers are dry, I will grab some of the paint grays. You can also use black as well, and go back to the center, add more dots to make it look darker and create contrast for the flowers. So these are basically 3 different angles that I think is quite easy to capture, and I also looked at reference photos of real flowers to come up with these. And here is a little drill that you can do to practice painting the petals. I actually practiced this a lot to get my hands used to the brushstrokes. You can do the petal with a negative space in the middle like this to give it some highlight. And yeah, so that's it for the practice part. Moving on to the next one, we will use what we've just learned and turn them into 2 complete floral paintings. The first painting will be sunflower bouquets. For this, I will paint 3 sunflowers with different angles, which are the angles that we've just practiced in the first part. And to make it easy and simple, I'm just gonna do 3 flowers for the bouquet, but you can also do like 3 flowers and also add some of the fillers if you want to make it more crowded, or you can also do like 5 flowers, do more than 3, but I think for the bouquet, to make it look more balanced, it's better to do the odd numbers like 3, 5, something like that. And the other tips is to have the flowers in different height, different sizes as well, and make sure to incorporate different shades of the same colors to add variety and also make the painting look more vibrant. And obviously, as you can see, this is a loose painting style, and if you like me and love this style, one of the tips that I would recommend is try to paint quickly, and don't try to fix the mistake. Don't try to go back and forth, add layer, or pick up the pigments and add more layers. If you keep doing like that, it's gonna turn out very muddy. And instead, if you make mistake, maybe just let it go and see how it turn out. Sometimes when watercolor, when it dries, it's gonna look completely different when it wet. And finally, I love to add extra things to make my painting look more interesting. And one of the easiest way is to sparkling some of the leftover paints on the palette. And that is the first painting. It's very easy and simple, right? And now we will move on to the next one. For this one, I am going to paint sunflower pattern. I really enjoy doing floral pattern because I think it's easy, simple, and you don't really have to worry about composition. And I am going to fill up the whole page with sunflowers, and I am going to incorporate all of the sunflowers with different perspective that we practiced in the beginning to this design as well. And to make the design look more interesting, make sure that you have the flowers in different sizes, different views, different perspective, and also have a variety shades of colors. For example, in this case, I have different shade of yellow, and also have the flowers looking in different direction as well. So if you are looking for something relaxed to paint, I think a floral pattern is such a good idea. I usually do the pattern to warm up, or when I need to practice some kind of flowers that I just learned. I usually do the pattern as well in my sketchbook. I feel like floral pattern is kind of forgiving. No matter how messy it is, as long as I fill up the beige with all the elements, it's always turn out just fine. Unlike floral bouquet, where you really need to think about a composition to make sure that it look balanced. That's why I love painting floral patterns so much, and it's always my go-to warm-up activities whenever I feel stuck or just really need something to relax in a short amount of time. And now, as you can see, I also added some of the flowers with very light colors, or in the other way, very light values. So having different values will bring out the contrast and also give a painting more depth. And I also added some of the leaves to have a variation of colors as well. And yeah, that's it for today's tutorials. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you find this helpful, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That would help me a lot. And I also want to sorry for not being consistent on YouTube lately, since I just got back from a family trip. But now I'm back, I will try to post more often and more tutorials will come. So thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!